Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out your president just claimed an entire ocean. Not a beach, not an island. A 39-kilometer wide strait that controls 20% of the world's oil. That's exactly what happened this week. Donald Trump stood in front of a crowd in New York and said, "Pretty soon, I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States." And then he doubled down. He said, essentially, that's what it is already. But here's the thing. He can't. And the reason why is going to blow your mind. Because what Trump just threatened isn't just legally impossible, it might actually be a war crime. Okay, let's back up. If you don't know why the Strait of Hormuz is the most fought over piece of water on Earth, here's your crash course. This narrow passage, just 21 nautical miles at its tightest point, is the global economy's kill switch. 1/5 of the world's oil and gas passes through here. Close it, and gas prices spike worldwide. Keep it open, and the world keeps running. Right now, it's a war zone. The US has a naval blockade choking Iran's ports. Iran has fired back, blocking the passage to leverage the global economy. And caught in the middle, every country that needs oil to function, which is all of them. So when Trump says he's going to make this US territory, he's not just making a bold claim. He's threatening to redraw borders that have existed for centuries with a single speech. But here's where it gets really interesting. I spoke with Bruce Fein. Yeah, the Bruce Fein, former Associate Deputy Attorney General under Ronald Reagan. And he didn't mince words. He said Trump is constitutionally powerless to annex territory on his own. Period. The Constitution requires either a treaty ratified by the Senate or a congressional statute. Think Louisiana Purchase, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, all required Congress. But Trump, he thinks he can do it with a tweet or a speech or sheer willpower? And it gets worse for Team Trump. Natalie Klein, an international law expert from the University of New South Wales, said the only way this claim holds any water is if the US is an occupying power, like the US was over Japan after World War II. But that would require the US to have full military control over Iran's coastal areas. Spoiler alert, they don't. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps has already said they're waiting with fingers on the trigger. Iran's deputy foreign minister, Kazim Garibabadi, fired back with one of the best diplomatic clapbacks I've ever heard. The Strait of Hormuz cannot be seized by tweet, nor by aircraft carrier, nor by issuing an order, nor by an election speech. So if he can't do it, and he knows he can't do it, why say it? Here's the answer, and it's something every political analyst is pointing out. Trump's a showman. Paul Musgrave, a professor at Georgetown University in Qatar, put it perfectly. You have to take him seriously in some cases, but not literally. This isn't about international law. This is about domestic politics. Trump's war on Iran is wildly unpopular at home. Only 35% of Americans support it. Gas prices just crossed $4 a gallon, and his own vice president, J.D. Vance, admitted the administration's top priority is now controlling petrol prices, not stopping Iran's nuclear program. November midterms are coming. Republicans are defending narrow congressional majorities, and Trump needs a win, or at least the appearance of one. So what does he do? He walks into a police academy in New York and claims he owns the ocean. His base eats it up. His opponents get outraged, and the media, we can't stop talking about it. Here's what actually matters and why you should care. Iran and Oman, the only two countries that actually boulder the strait, are in active negotiations to manage maritime traffic themselves without the US. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, says a deal may reach a conclusion soon. But here's the catch. Iran won't reopen the waterway unless the US lifts its naval blockade and sanctions. Conditions that were originally for ending the war are now just for reopening a shipping lane. That means the US is losing leverage, fast. Trump's territory claim? It's a Hail Mary. a distraction, a way to look strong while his administration runs low on Patriot missiles, public support crumbles, and Iran holds more cards than Washington wants to admit. At the end of the day, this story isn't really about Trump. It's about what happens when a superpower starts making claims it can't enforce. Because here's the truth. Under international law, specifically UNCLOS, the UN
Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Strait of Hormuz isn't even fully Iranian. It's not fully Omani. It's international waters. At its narrowest point, Iran and Oman's territorial waters actually overlap. And while neither the US nor Iran has even ratified UNCLOS, the rules are considered customary international law. So when Trump says US territory, and Iran says Iranian waters, and Oman says we're negotiating, the reality is no one fully owns it. And that's exactly why everyone fights over it. So what do you think? Is this just Trump being Trump? Or is this a dangerous escalation that could backfire spectacularly? Drop your take in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want more deep dives into geopolitical stories that sound like fiction but are terrifyingly real, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Next week, we're covering why the US is literally running out of missiles in the middle of a war and why no one in Washington wants to talk about it. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, not everything that sounds powerful is possible. It's political theater, but the problem is the theater is on fire and the audience is the entire world. Visit letsreadnews.com for more analysis.